Welcome to the Stand on Your Investment podcast, presented by UC Hunting Properties and Expedition Land Management, where professionals from around the country will dive deep into land management strategies, investing in recreational real estate, and all things hunting.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Stand on Your Investment podcast. This is going to be part 2 of our Western series, and we are joined by the world-famous Gary Hubbell, straight out of Colorado, UC Brokers.
UC
Colorado Brokers and Auction. Yes.
We'll get it by the end of the night.
Yeah. I just know it's UC Gary.
Yeah.
Gary comes to us from Colorado. But pretty cool event we got going on. This is the first annual UC Hunting Properties team training event. We got about 30 guys. I think there's 8 different states represented. I may be wrong, might be 7, but might be 8. But 30 of arguably the best in the business. They're here learning. We're taking the whole group through the NDA Deer Stewart 1 course. Gary came in and blessed us with his expertise in all things RLI and ALC credentials, so that was cool. And honestly, I think it garnered a lot of attention. So we appreciate you being in town, Gary, and I don't know, give us the 30-second Gary Hubbell elevator speech.
Oh, boy. Former wilderness outfitter and hunting guide, elk hunts and trophy mule deer hunts in the Colorado Rockies in an area, little town of Marble, Colorado, right between Aspen and Crested Butte. And my wife and I live on a cool little 118-acre hay farm in Crawford, Colorado now. Raise hay and Labrador retrievers and have a fair amount of horses, and we just really enjoy life, but we also really like selling cool properties.
And you guys are good at selling cool properties.
We have a blast.
Yeah. Jake Hubbell, Gary's son, kind of the prodigy, I guess.
I'm famous in ranch real estate circles. I'm Jake's dad.
Clearly. I love it. Well, like I said, Gary, this is part 2 of our Western series. We started with a discussion with Brandon Guy out of Malta, Montana, or works out of Malta, I should say. But Brandon's got a deep history with all things hunting in Montana, and the focus was truly that. So we're going to shift gears into Colorado. Mm-hmm. And Gary, what we're looking for is we want your perspective on whether you're literally a resident of Colorado and what that means from a land ownership perspective when it comes to hunting, or if you were going to be an absentee landowner.
Out of state.
Out of state, non-resident, sure. But as a landowner, are there advantages to, the draw, the tag system?
Certain units.
It really doesn't matter if you are a resident of Colorado. As long as you're a landowner in Colorado, you do get some real benefits. And landowner tags, 15% of the draw tags in Colorado are exclusively reserved for landowners. So
that's a big stat.
Well,
for resident landowners?
No.
Or for
landowners.
Just landowners in general, no matter
Doesn't
what.
matter where you're from.
Okay.
So if you've got, and you have to have 160 contiguous acres to be put into that program. So if you have a property that's divided into multiples of 160 acres, like a 480 or a 640 or, whatever, 1320, then you can actually subdivide it into 160 acre parcels and put more draw applications in. But you can get and primarily what everybody's really looking for. Sure, there's some elk tags out there in certain units, like Unit 40, which is Glade Park right above Grand Junction, right on the Utah border, has some tremendous bulls where guys are, there's a very real chance of getting a 380-plus bull in that area. There's some screamers. And then, but really what people are after is the mule deer tags. Yeah. And the landowner mule deer tags, those priority tags are highly sought after. They're fungible. You can sell them. So that you can, if you got a high net worth guy that wants to bring out all his friends and entertain his clients and his family and so forth, and he's got 5 or 6 tags, well, amen, have fun. But
Gary,
if you want to make $5,000 on a tag, you can do that too.
Here's what I'm curious about. So you said 160 is kind of the entry point. You
right.
got to have 160 to qualify. But to your point, you were talking about being able to subdivide 160s.
Quote unquote subdivide.
I get it.
Quarter acres or quarter section parcels.
But on that note, so every 160 is then available to a landowner tag.
They can apply for landowner tags. Not saying you're guaranteed to get tags, but
more in the pot.
More in the pot. So,
like
there's sometimes when you're looking at the mapping programs where it has the landowner identification, you'll see XYZ123 LLC. Then you'll see XYZ124 LLC, and you'll see a whole bunch of 160-acre parcels. Obviously, they've been carved out that way because they're playing the tag game.
Yeah, they did their homework and they're doing it or attempting to maximize their opportunity.
So with that, can they only hunt on that 160 or
no? They can hunt in the whole game management unit. Like if it's a Unit 66 tag outside of Gunnison or a Unit 43 tag near Carbondale and Aspen, then they can hunt anywhere in that game management unit, which is vast.
Yeah, which is huge because in some states, landowner tags, you're only hunting the land you own on.
You can also actually get private land only tags. And those are, if you're certain that you're going to find game animals on your property, and you get those through the draw process, so the regular draw. But there's private land only tags as well. So yeah, there's a lot of hunting benefits to owning Colorado real estate. And hey, everybody's after big mule deer bucks, and if you can get somebody onto a 190 to 200 inch buck, that might be a $10,000 or $15,000 hunt for somebody. Mm-hmm. So there's money behind it. Yeah.
Wow, I guess I was basically oblivious to the advantages of the land ownership in Colorado.
There are some real advantages, yes.
If you could get a private landowner tag where you're just on your private land that you're hunting.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be 160 acres.
Oh, okay. That doesn't even have to be 160 acres.
And is that a separate draw, Gary, or in conjunction with?
It's in conjunction with the regular draw that everybody's doing for getting their, stacking up preference points and so forth.
Okay.
So if you guys knew a good landowner out in Colorado where you were assured that you could pretty much find game on that ranch, even without doing the landowner tags, you could apply for a private land only tag, and as just a member of the general public, you could draw that as well.
Well, I did hear out, Gary, you didn't have 160. You have a pivot, so we're almost there. I need you to buy a little adjoining land, get to 160, and I'd love to come out and give it a test run.
I'll tell you what, we've seen some nice bucks on my property.
Oh, I can't even. Yeah, I mean, if you got.
And believe it or not, even wild pheasants on my property.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you don't need 160 acres to shoot those. You only need 116.
Well, and I think eastern Colorado, especially, there's some dang good pheasant hunting.
Oh, boy. Well, there's some good pheasant hunting and also some unbelievable whitetail and mule deer hunting out there in the eastern plains.
They shoot some big ones.
No, some grandes. I mean, there's a Slade. What is his? I think it's Slade Knowlton. I can't remember the guy's name. He's a good friend of my broker associate, Lauren Williams, and this guy has a bang-up outfitting business in eastern Colorado, and they are booked to the max, and they're consistently finding both whitetails and mule deer in that real trophy category, and it might be 170 plus for whitetail and say 190 plus for mule deer, but they consistently bang some hammers, some 200 class deer.
We'll have to look that guy up.
That's good for an outfitting business.
Well, and I don't care what anyone says, and I don't care where you are. You get to 170 in a whitetail or 190 in a muley, you're looking at a hell of an animal.
Right.
Well, that's what everybody's looking for all their life, Mm-hmm.
And every year it gets harder to find trophy caliber mule deer, and I think for multiple reasons, you know what I mean. But if you have them and you have them consistently, you got something pretty special. So
well, and we've got this one little property, and it's on the mountainside up above Carbondale, Colorado, and it's only 14 acres. Guys, I can't explain it, but it comes off the Red Tables and Basalt Mountain and in Unit 444, which is near Eagle. And if you look in the record book, that unit has more Boone and Crockett bucks than probably the next 5 put together.
Sure.
This guy has killed 7 200 class mule deer on that 14 acres.
It's not how many acres you got, it's the right one.
Yeah. the perfect 80, but it's only 14.
Yeah.
7. And by the way, it's under contract.
Okay.
Shocker. On that note, Gary, I mean, it's one thing to sit here and talk about having a 160 or, to your point, owning land in Colorado, but obviously land values out there are astronomical. I mean, a lot of people want to live there. It's a beautiful state. How would a guy go about the search? I mean, obviously, we can look at the record book. We can look at units. You've played the game. You've been an outfitter.
Yeah.
You get the business. I mean, where, from your perspective, if someone was serious about it, where should they start their search?
With a good qualified land broker, and not your sister's cousin's brother-in-law or somebody that sells houses in Aurora. You guys know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Start with somebody that's got some chops in the business, and I'm a member, and that was my breakout session that I taught today about the Realtors Land Institute and the ALC designation and so forth. And if somebody has that ALC designation, they've obviously got high competence, accredited land consultant.
But then I thought you said you had that. Gary.
I do. So not only
now
am I
I'm
an
confused.
ALC, but yeah. Thanks. Appreciate all your support, help and support. So they give it out. They come in a Cracker Jack box, right?
Sure.
No, and that, actually, you're pretty close to yours, right, Travis?
I just confirmed to go to St. John's or St. Mary's, Georgia.
In
finish
August.
up. You
to
got
get
one more class?
I got one more
Yeah.
class, and she's all done.
Yeah,
Nice.
but
So-
anyway, that's the best way to start, because you can go through Land Watch or Land Flip, Lands of America, and I don't care what you do, and find all these properties. But how many times are you reading a bunch of fairy tales or just misrepresented, And you need somebody that understands this basin, that game management unit, and that's the one thing about what we do is we work the whole state of Colorado. I'm licensed in Utah as well, but we do the entire state. And so, and if I don't know exactly where to go in that town or that drainage, then I've got a broker colleague that does.
Sure.
Well,
and I bring it up because it does get confusing, and especially there's a big appeal from Midwesterners, whether it's elk or mule deer. I mean,
yeah.
Hell, I think of the clique we kind of run in, and
Yep.
virtually all of us are going out west every year.
Yeah.
It's our vacation.
Look, you've been reading Field and Stream or Outdoor Life since you were about 10 years old, and man, you're like, oh, an elk, and
Well, and
that's everybody's bucket list
Right.
thing is an
Yeah,
elk,
it's
an elk hunt
majestic.
as well.
And
you know.
even a step further, Gary. I mean, you can read the publications where they're ranking and filing the units, by species, and they're leveraging that against draw statistics, and you can look at that stuff till you're blue in the face. And I've always questioned how skewed is that data. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say, outfitters are blowing smoke, but I also got to believe there's a direct correlation.
Okay.
Speaking of
Yeah.
smoke,
So Travis, how many deals do you double side,
over 50%.
and who keeps track?
I do.
Same with outfitters.
Yep.
Okay, what's your success rate? 85%. Who's keeping track? I am.
95% of all statistics are bullshit.
Right, exactly. Now the one thing about hunting in this day and age is that outfitters out there are, they are probably the most scrutinized group of people.
Sure.
We have sold 23 outfitting businesses. We have number 24 listed, number 25, which you came out to see.
Gorgeous place.
I
by
mean,
the way.
that's a stunner,
It's
right?
a banger, yeah.
So.
Well, and where I was going with that, and I'm not even going to name publications, but the reality of it is I know how the outdoor business works, and I know if you're advertising with a publication, you could certainly potentially get a favorable review, and maybe it's not warranted.
Oh, that's been going on since time immemorial. But the thing about it is, outfitters. There's a lot of reviews, pro and con, out there, and sometimes people will call up and they'll bitch about something like not having hand soap in the tent or something.
Sure.
Who knows, but. You get your whiners and people
Right.
out there, but there's a lot of people that will give good reviews and so forth. And so, just do your research and it'll usually come out in the wash. But back to hunting properties, I think it's a solid investment. As we all know, land values are appreciating 7 to 10% a year every year. Well, why not go have some fun on it?
Damn right.
And if you've got a nice cabin or something, Airbnb properties are very popular in Colorado, and people want to get back in the high country and spend a week in a high country cabin and have an escape. And maybe you rent it for $3,000 that week. I don't know. Maybe it's less, but maybe it's more.
You got options.
Get out of the lights and skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, we have some people even looking to buy properties with us because of the night sky, and I can stargaze from here. You know?
Northern Lights this week are coming through, aren't they out there?
Dude, you got me. I'm too busy selling real estate to worry about the Northern Lights.
We thought Gary knew everything.
Yeah.
And then Trav sends him a low hanging and didn't even connect. But
maybe it's next week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gary, we clearly, I would give you guys, and I'm saying you guys collectively as your whole brokerage, your team that you've assembled, we've seen nothing but top-end professionalism out of your staff. So anyone listening that is legitimately looking in Colorado, and maybe it's not even hunting involved or
We've
related.
sold 5 wineries in Colorado. A lot of people don't know that Colorado has, 100 wineries in it.
I think of microbrews. I don't think of wineries.
No, but seriously, we've sold 5 wineries in Colorado. We're kind of well known for that. We've sold orchards and vineyards and investment properties and, oh gosh, you name it, cattle ranches, row crop farms where they're growing.
Done it all.
Pinto beans and pinto beans and onions and stuff like that. But I did sell a house 4 years ago, house in town.
I didn't know Hubbell would lower his standards to sell
It was
a
cool.
house.
It was a 1910 Victorian. So
Okay, a little
was cool.
history. I like it. All right, so now I'm putting you on the spot, Hubbell, because I think you gave us a real good idea, I guess, of what land ownership means relative to hunting. But you, off the top of your head, I want you to give the Gary Hubbell spin on the top mule deer unit and then top elk unit from your perspective, with your history, with your background. Where's the Grand Poopah? Is it still 61? Is it?
On private land, right where I live in Unit 63, there's a lot of trophy bucks taken. And because there's some real nice hayfields on Fruitland Mesa.
And how tough's that draw, Gary? I mean, just throwing an average
3 or 4 years.
So it's not crazy.
It's not crazy. Unit 66 and 67 south of Gunnison in the Powderhorn area and so forth have always been very, very good. But they had a hell of a winter this last year, and they may have had some death loss, that would knock back your herd. Glade Park on Unit 40 and on the western side of the state, just south of Grand Junction, between that and Escalante Canyon. They've had some really terrific elk. Creed, Colorado, which is a little town kind of just right dab in the middle of the mountains. In fact, Creed was well known for Alfred Packer. Lake City was where the incident happened, but the trial happened in Creed, and the judge says, "Alfred Packer, you son of a bitch! There was only 7 Democrats in Hinsdale County, and you ate 4 of them."
Literally, yeah.
So, anyway, that's a famous quote. That actually happened in Lake City, but he was tried in Creed. So, Creed in Unit 76. Outside of Creed is some phenomenal elk hunting and some good trophy bucks as well. Kind of a sleeper for mule deer is Unit 42, right around Rifle, Colorado. Rifle and Silt have some really good mule deer around there.
When you're getting close to the Craig area, and that's kind of world renowned, that general area for trophy
elk.
And mule deer.
Well, yeah, not so much. Now, the problem with Eagle County, which is further east on the Colorado River basin there, the problem with that is that all the development from the Vale, Beaver Creek, Avon, Edwards, and all that, and so they've eaten up a lot of deer habitat. But that used to be really one of the best mule deer areas in the whole world. Yeah. So.
Well, and they keep turning them out. Every year Colorado's turning out some magnums.
I was telling the story to one of the fellas, and there was a guy that He was hunting up on the side of the Grand Mesa. I guess that'd be either probably 421. The guy was an Iraq war vet. He was out hunting with his wife and his buddy, and he had a cow tag and a buck tag in his pocket. And his buddy didn't have a buck tag. He had one, and they were up right on the edge of the Grand Mesa at about 10,000 feet. And his buddy says, hey, man, I think that there's your buck. And they see this deer, and it's got its head behind a big spruce tree. And so they couldn't see it, and these deer was eating stuff. And finally they saw 2 points, and the guy was a meat hunter. He had a cow tag in his pocket, right? He sees a fork like that. He says, it's legal. Touches off, shoots it. They walk over there. It was a 13 by 14 that scored 299.
What? 299.
That was only 6 or 7 years ago.
That's insane. Well, and I don't remember. I'm going to say this wrong, but the world record mule deer might be from Colorado to this day.
Probably. I mean, very likely.
I think
We've had some real bangers, some real nice
some
mule
special
deer.
stuff.
When I was guiding and outfitting, and I haven't guided. My deal now is kids and friends, but the biggest buck we ever killed, and this was on a muzzleloader hunt above Marble in the high country, and that buck was shot at probably 11,000 feet, but he was a 9x7 that scored 219.
That's getting her done.
Yeah.
Anything that starts with a 2, when we're talking about mule deer, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
Because they're getting rare, man.
Did you guys catch that? He said he only guides for his friends.
I was
Kids
actually
and
going to
friends.
ask,
and friends.
You guys are becoming
Are we
friendly.
friends yet? Are we friends yet?
I could pass as a kid.
Gary, you got any interest in shooting a big Iowa whitetail? Wink, wink.
In fact, I do. Let's trade
All
on.
right, I got it. I just locked it up, boys. Sorry.
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
included
it.
in this.
I don't know what you're doing mid-September next year, but I know where I'll be.
But you know what? I talked to Brandon Guy, and that's how this whole Western series came up. He started talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, a lot of people need to know this. For the land, for people buying land and, people going out there to invest in land, these are big carrots that are part of the draw system.
Oh, yeah.
That add value.
Absolutely.
That, heck, I didn't even know a lot of it.
Right.
It can be complex, but with the right guide, then
Or the right land broker
guide / yes, we can make it work for you. But it's and the topography and the scenery. The one thing about Colorado is it's when people come to me and they say, well, I want 4,000 acres or I want 8,000 acres or whatever. Those places are hard to find in Colorado unless you really got tater. And I mean, you're talking, we just listed one. In fact, this is coming up, guys, and it's a really cool place.
You were showing me a map of it today.
3,500 acres and beautiful elk and deer hunting, and not far from Glenwood Springs at all. And we got it priced at $15 million, and it will sell. But really, the price per acre for that area, less than $5,000 an acre, is really a good number, and excellent elk and mule deer hunting on that ranch.
And it's irrigated.
It's got great irrigation on it, and not far from town, easy access, great place to land bank for that guy that's really got some assets but wants to pull some money out of the stock market and so forth. I mean, not a better play as far as just no conservation easements, no encumbrances on it, and the kind of place where it's going to be worth double in 5 or 10 years.
It's unbelievable.
And that's
Trav,
in a unit.
What?
You got a smooth 15 laying around, don't you?
Yeah, you take a check?
Take one for the team.
You bet.
So what kind of unit, if you were a regular non-resident and you wanted to draw that unit or that area, what's your odds versus if you were a landowner?
I would look at the areas that have the right habitat and the right terrain, and also a good amount of public land. If you are looking in some of these areas, that's just all taken up with private land, and all the deer and all the elk just funnel down out of the high country and then just
Park
it. And you're standing there looking over the fence, go, dang, that's a nice bull.
Yeah, right.
That's not where you want to be. You want to find find a unit where you can find good public access and a wide variety of terrain, that is mule deer type terrain, and they love oak brush. Now here's kind of my secret. If I can give you my secret sauce, I know everybody wants to hear it. it's an unusual phenomenon, and you guys are probably not aware of this whatsoever. But big mule deer bucks like to go up to 12,000 feet. I've seen big mule deer hanging out, laying there under there's a subalpine fir. We call it Krummholz, and it's a German word for crooked wood, and they grow really close together. And it's above timberline. Timberline's like 11.5 to 11.8, and they're these little trees, and they're an evergreen, but they're very thick and dense.
Okay.
And the deer love to bed down right at the base of those. Okay. So and there will be big bucks. I guided a hunt one time where a guy missed a 6x7 that went 31 inches on opening morning. And we went on a merry tour of the Colorado high country, and I showed him 65 bucks in a 6-day hunt. And they were all up there at high elevation. Well, when the snow hits during usually that second rifle season, which is that latter part of October in Colorado, those bucks start draining down out of the high country, and they can't stand more than about that much snow. And so we were talking in our deer series today about, the range of a whitetail, and there was one extraordinary case of a whitetail that went 186 miles, I think, but they call them excursions for a whitetail. They may go over there to 3 or 4 miles away, and that's why some guy whacks a deer that's never been seen before.
Right.
Yep.
But these deer will, and all of them will migrate 30 to 40 miles, 50 miles, sometimes 60 miles. And so if you're capable of hunting prior to that snowfall at 12,000 feet, which not many people are, you got a good chance of finding a nice buck. After that, they'll drain down out of the high country, and they'll come to those lower elevations, and that's when you find those real nice bucks in the oak brush and the pinyons and junipers at about, say, 6,500 to 7,000 feet.
Sure, makes sense.
Had you ever known that before? It's interesting, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you hear people talk about
but
the high altitude or high country hunts and stuff, and clearly it's a fact. I mean, you've done it. You've been there, done that.
Oh yeah.
That would be fun, though.
Oh, it's a hell of a hunt.
If you don't mind not breathing.
Right.
12,000 is not exactly comfortable.
No, it's not for the faint at heart. And
Right.
It's not for the
Right.
It's not for the guy that doesn't have a lot of wind. You got to get in the very best shape of your life, and then come out about 4 or 5 days early. And
Knowing you, Gary,
get
I'm guessing
acclimated.
you could run laps up there.
Look, dude, I'm carrying right now. I'm packing. But I can still walk.
And it's not extra oxygen.
Yeah. Bring a tank with you. No, that's cool. So the $15 million property, because now I'm intrigued because we're going to have Travis buy it or invest out there. Is that a tough draw? I mean, if a guy was serious
Not
to listen.
no.
Okay.
And with that big of an acreage, you're going to get all kinds of landowner tags.
Yeah.
You get multiples. I don't know exactly how many they get. I mean,
Sure.
I just got the. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn. I think everybody signed.
Yeah, well, we hope so. Hopefully, by the time this airs, they've all signed.
Right.
Let's put it that way, right? Yeah.
We'll have to hold her back.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Jake is running that deal, so we'll see how that goes.
Right
But
on.
that's
Well, good
that's
luck
an
to Jake.
excellent hunting property with both deer and elk. And by the way, one thing that we've had too is a lot of bears, bears, and they're really kind of becoming a pest. Loma, Colorado is about 4,800 feet in elevation, and it's like 10 to 15 miles from the Utah border down in the hot desert down there. But they got a lot of ag land and a lot of cornfields.
Sure.
They shot 30 bears out of the cornfields last year.
I believe
wow.
it. I believe it.
down in the hot desert. They're out there eating sweet corn and feed corn,
Absolutely.
having a big old time, So
Well, it's a smorgasbord to them.
yeah.
Well, I'd
So
go down
anyway,
there, too, if I was them.
but we're getting some bears that I've had a friend of mine had one on his trail cam, and this bear probably stood about that high at the top of his back, and his belly was that far off the ground.
Just a tank.
Oh my God, this thing was obese. And it was, if you would have had it as a circus bear, all the PETA people would be complaining because he was so damn fat.
You were overfeeding him.
But seriously, we're getting some 500 and 600 pound bears
Oh, that's
Wow.
cool.
regularly. Lots of bears.
That's a good one. That's a huge one, actually. It's giant. Colorado, special place, Gary. I mean,
It
what
is,
else do
and-
you say?
And our look, I'm sorry about our politics.
He had to go there.
It happens.
Well, I gotta say this: if any listener has not went out and Google searched "Angry White Men" by Gary Hubbell,
Oh, yeah.
you need to, because to this day it's a very relevant read.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
That was a wild ride. We'll talk about that later.
It's a good one, but you need to check that out. So, what you guys got? Anything else? We'll wrap this thing up. But I mean, Gary, holy moly, gave us a ton of insight on the ins and outs, the goods, the bads. Well, there wasn't really any bads, maybe other than just
Well,
the
I'll
price.
tell
Not being able to draw
Yeah.
as much.
I'll tell you the bad though, okay, and that is that Colorado kind of is the Walmart of elk hunting, if you will, in that they have not limited licenses in many respects. You know, there's all kinds of units to where second and third rifle season, which is typically late October to early November, which they've shoved those season dates back to where fourth rifle season now is almost past Thanksgiving, which is weird. You know, it's too late for the Colorado high country. But anyway, it's you can see a pumpkin patch. You know, they've sold too many licenses in some areas, so you got to know where to go and how to avoid the crowds, and how to get into the game. Personally, I've done real well over the years, but
What'd you say? You've killed personally 35 elk?
35.
Yeah, it's a
I
ton.
had 38 years of trying. And I had 2 years recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, where I blanked. I'm like, did I lose my magic? You know, what happened to my mojo? You know, but no, I've killed 35 elk.
That's
awesome.
a big number.
Well, you talk about a pumpkin patch. Come over to Wisconsin during opening day of rifle
yeah.
season.
Yeah.
It's not a pumpkin patch. It looks like Walmart's grocery section.
But, you know, but there are places that if you know where to go and know how to do it, you're going to get off the beaten track. You're going to have a lot of fun. And, you know, I've met some great people in the high country. In fact, 2 years, a couple wild stories where I went out hunting by myself and ended up meeting somebody out on the mountain hunting, and we both got game.
Nice.
And making friends with these fellas and just having fun.
Well, you know he's a good dude if he's up there trudging around.
Yeah, typically they self-separate. You know?
Exactly.
So yeah,
that's definitely a good key to success. But Gary, we can't thank you enough for making the long trek in to help present and be part of the group. We appreciate your contribution to UC Hunting Properties. It was fun coming out and working with you and your team on that opportunity at Rivers Bend Outfitting. That one's hitting the market. That's as good as it gets. So
tremendous opportunity and well priced, and one of these, I think, who said it? One of you guys said it. When you know that you can sell, I think it was you, Travis, that you can sell this property because you have the proper marketing. No, it was Slade. Slade said it. He said, when you know that you have these marketing tools behind you and you have this experience and you have this ability to sell this property, it becomes a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's one that Meeker outfitting business is.
It's once in a lifetime opportunity for somebody.
It is, and it's just and what a wonderful family, Till and Ashley Gates. You know,
class act. Yep.
Yeah, class.
And their kids.
Yeah, their kids are just. I drove up in the driveway. I know we're going a little long here, but the first time I drove up in the driveway, and they've got this old 1904 farmhouse, and there's an American flag hanging on the front, outside the front door in the porch, and there's two boys wearing their jeans and their cowboy hats and roping a roping dummy, and I'm like, dang, this is cool.
A little slice of Americana.
Yeah. Just really cute kids and doing the right things with their family, so yeah.
That's awesome.
We love helping people like that.
And it shows. You guys do a bang-up job. So, Gary, again, thank you very much.
Yeah,
we
thanks.
appreciate you. Welcome to Iowa. We're about to go have some brisket.
Ooh.
It ain't going to get much better than that.
We are well hosted, and I was thinking about it. I almost mailed it in and didn't come because I was like, man, it was a 17-hour drive.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad I came, and what a great bunch of fellas and what a bunch of land pros, and glad to be part of the team here.
We're glad to have you. Well, that's a wrap for this week. We'll be coming back to you. We're gonna at least do one more part of this Western series and help people educate. That one will be specifically about New Mexico. But at that point, we've covered Montana, Colorado, and New Mexico, and I would argue those are probably the top 3 destinations for Western elk hunting anyway. So, again, thanks, Gary. We appreciate you.
Amen, brother.
Take care.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Stand on Your Investment podcast presented by UC Hunting Properties and Expedition Land Management.